Should you be using AI to make games? One side says it's the future, and if you're not using it, you're already behind. The other side says it's absolute just theft, and it's slop, and real devs shouldn't be touching it. I've sat on both sides of that argument, and we've been fighting for this over 2 years, but I don't think anybody's realized we've been asking the wrong question. I'll tell you what we should be asking instead, but first I want to tell you why this one's been broken the whole time. Quick context so you know that I'm not just rambling. I build games. I have games that I have for sale that have sold. I have built many games, at least a dozen now, that I have published and put out there for people to play, and I teach game programming at the college level. I've used AI in multiple projects, both professionally and as a hobby, and I think it's burned me as often as it's helped me. That's the whole reason I can't give you the clean answer that either side wants. So the first story I want to tell you about is when I used AI to help script a video for YouTube. I gave it an outline of my monthly updates. They were not getting views, so I figured, you know what, let me give it to ChatGPT and see if maybe it can create a script that will actually draw viewers in. I gave it the script, I filmed it, I edited it, I put it up, and right now that video is on its way to probably becoming my most viewed video on YouTube. I was very excited, saw the views coming in, and then the comments came in. This is AI trash, AI slop, AI garbage. And you know what? I don't disagree with all those comments. As I'm editing the video, I'm going through, making the edits, I'm putting in the footage, and all I can hear is not my words. I hear AI's words. But at the same time, when I was doing my words prior to that, my videos were not blowing up. I was getting, if I got a good video, 150 views. This video is now, I think, close to 35,000 views. So it won me a lot of views. It worked. But at the same time, it wasn't me. It wasn't my creative stuff that I put out there. So, I won and I lost. It's kind of hard to decide, what's the outcome there. If I were to go back and look at that, would I do that again? The answer is probably yes. Yes, I would, because the trajectory I was on was not a good one. But those comments, that feedback, led me down a path to explore and start writing this type of stuff, my own style. Next, let's talk about AI-generated art. I can use something like this real quick. I can throw it in the ChatGPT and it gives me the YouTube thumbnail. Done in seconds. It's going to show me a composition I probably never would have thought of. But the second I put that online, I'm going to get a comment that says, this is just AI-generated slop. The first couple times I did this, I was like, well, how can you tell? But just take a look, look through this list. You can pick out instantly. These ones were made with ChatGPT. These ones were made with Claude. They all look the same. They all have the same font choices, the same color, the same composition. There's nothing unique about them. But at the same time, I don't have to spend hours generating a thumbnail. I can just tell it, here's the script for the video, make me a thumbnail, and it does. The nice part is the way I've started using it is I can give it an idea. It'll give me a composition. Then that'll get my brain going, and I can take this and turn it into this. While one was AI generated, this one was handcrafted, but it was a composition that the two came together and created as a result. Is that a legit use of AI? There's a win, saves time. I'm not artistic, helps me here. But at the same time, even if I made it by hand, I'm just copying AI art. Is that still bad? I don't know. What's your opinion? I want to talk about one more story before I give you the real question we should be asking. And that is the dependency issue. You give something to an AI, let's use Claude for example, say, hey, make me a game in Godot. Here's what I want to do. Here's what I need you to create. And it'll go through, it'll create it, you'll hit play, you're like, oh my God, this is awesome. I'll just go in and tweak and add a little bit things here and there. And then you come to find out the way it created it is not the way that you know how to use Godot. You know how to use it building a scene tree and all your nodes and your UI is all laid out and you can easily adjust it without messing up the code. But the way it's done it is it's hand-drawn all the elements. And there's no way for you to go back into that code and fix it because you don't understand how it did it. This is not the style programming that It's not this, everything, in one file. It makes being able to support and sustain your code impossible. And then let's take something like what happened with Fable 5. Gone. You just lost that entire thing. It'd be like if you're using this to make a game, your entire dev team just quit. How are you going to finish the game now? There's, as good as it is to quickly whip something up, I use this for my personal internal tracking site. I'm not putting it out there for the world. I'm not publishing it for anybody. It's only for my own use. I know there's bugs and security and all that stuff, but it does what it needs to for me. So win saves time for me, gets the job done when I need, but I'm not putting it publicly. It's not leaving my home network, so it's not a security issue. And definitely is not being put out there for other people to use. Now, if we look back at these, none of them were either good or bad. There's no clear answer of one side or the other. It was the best outcome. YouTube videos, lots of views, good result. Lacking the human element, bad result. Art, super fast, gets things done. It's generic and doesn't stand out. And then dependency. I can create it fast, but then imagine you get into that debugging loop and it just keeps fixing one problem with a new problem. Fix the new problem, you got the old problem again. Or it just disappears. So every time you ask, is this good or bad? You kind of get a useless answer. But I want to reframe this. And I want to preface the reframed question with a story from my early days as a network engineer. And I think you'll understand where I'm going with this. I had a tech out in the field. His name was Mike. He was a great tech. I loved working with the guy. And so when we had to dispatch him out to a customer, business, residential, something like that, he would go out there and do all of our physical equipment replacement, wiring, and all that stuff. And there was one time I was on the phone with him. And I was going through kind of talking out loud and saying, hey, do you think, I don't remember what the issue was, but do you think this ACL is interfering and maybe I need to tweak this? And he flat out told me, he goes, you're the brains, I'm just the hands. You tell me what you want to do. And I've never forgot that conversation. He said it to me multiple times, but that very first time he said it to me, it really stuck with me. But he said it all the time. But it kind of reframed how I think about AI. Am I using AI as a hand extension, an extra set of hands, or am I using it to replace my thinking? Is it doing the cognitive work for me, or am I just offloading, menial duties to it? That's the whole thing with AI. We need to be asking, are we using it as an extra set of hands, or are we using it to replace our brain? If you're going to use it for something like, I need a quick script to parse a log file that's in a really bad format, you're just using it as hands. You know what the outcome needs to be. You know exactly how this should end up, and you could do it yourself, but it'll take you an hour to do it, and you can look through the results of the script and know if it's right or wrong. But offloading a script for a video, that's just removing the brain, putting it over here, and just say, you do that for me while I go play a video game. That's, in my opinion, using it to replace a brain. And I don't think that that's the right use of AI. Having AI generate a list of names for me, 100 random names to use in a game, or my D&D session or something like that, that's offloading, hands work. I could just go look through a name generator. I could go look through the Dungeon Master's Guide, and it's got a list of possible names, and I can just combine them and write them down myself. That's just hands work. That's not really taking away thinking, because I don't really care for the shopkeeper's NPC name, what it needs to be. If it's the main villain of my story, I'm not going to hand that to AI. I'm going to do something myself. I'm going to figure out that name. I'm not going to replace my brain with AI's. It's the same thing with trying to debug a project. If you're just giving it to AI to debug, you don't know how your code's working. You've taken your brain and handed it over to the computer and just say, I don't know what I'm doing, you do it for me. You have no way to know what's happening under the hood. You have no idea how your inventory system or your stat system is implemented. So you come to an expansion later on, you want to change something, how? You're going to have to ask the AI. It's going to spend all those tokens researching your program, figuring out what the previous AI did. And it's just going to, most likely going to end up in an endless debugging loop where you're never going to get forward, or you're going to get something that's not what you wanted. I think both camps are right. I think the anti-AI camp and the pro-AI camp are right and wrong about everything. Handing off your brain to an AI produces generic stuff that just sounds the same as what everyone else who uses AI is making. It leads to the same art styles. You can just, again, look through YouTube and you can just pick out all the thumbnails that are created with AI art. But they're wrong when they're telling people who are using AI as an exercise of hands should not be doing that. The pro-AI crowd is genuinely right. AI does save you time. It is useful and it's quick. But they're wrong that you should become dependent upon it. You should not offload all these tasks so you don't have to think, because then who's going to know what the actual thing is? Who's going to be able to evolve it? Who's going to be able to make something unique or make something good from it? They're both arguing good versus bad, but both camps have positive and negative sides to it. So that's the question I think we should be asking. Not is AI good or bad, but am I using AI as hands or as my brain? That part I can answer. The part I can't is where the line is between the two. Every time the AI tools get better, I'm tempted to trust it a little bit more. Same with every time I'm tired or I feel like I'm falling behind in video production. I'm always tempted to hand over way more than I should. So I'm not going to tell you where your line should be. I know where mine is, and I'm constantly re-evaluating where that line is for me. When does it stop being hands and start becoming brains? Like I told you at the start, I don't think asking is AI good or bad the right question. I think asking, am I using it for hands or brain, is the right one. And it's not one you can answer just once. It's a question you have to constantly keep asking yourself. Where is your line?